Good morning and welcome to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on WLS AM 890. Hi, I'm your host, Susan. We're broadcasting just one day after our massive Cowboys and Indians auction, and the studio is full today. I've got Mike and Randy Donley here today to tell you what you're missing out on.
Good morning, Susan. I wouldn't miss it. The energy yesterday at the auction gallery was like crazy. And I know we're all a little bit tired,
Hey,
but it's a
I'm
good
not tired.
tired.
I'm not tired. Yeah, you tired?
No, that really was a good auction.
It was a great auction.
The amount of people that showed up and the online bidding, too, that was really crazy. We even had museums bidding on these, some of these Native American items, so it was a very good auction.
That's right.
have to say, I have to jump in there, though, and say one thing so that our audience always remembers this about collecting, and that is the average age of our buyers. When I looked at the audience yesterday, the average age is just, unfortunately, getting older. Even in this hobby, we have to be very aware that if you've got items for sale, really now's the time to sell.
And now's the time to buy.
Well, combination of both.
That's right. So we haven't finalized the numbers yet, and we're going to talk more about this wonderful auction next week once the dust settles, right, guys? But in the meantime, let's talk about some auctions that we do have coming up, because we just finished this one. We're right on to the next one.
You got it. Well, and what is the next one, Susan? Come
All right.
on, keep
I'll
going.
tell you. Our next one is our razor blade advertising display and barbershop items auction. That's a mouthful. That's coming up Thursday, December 4th, folks. Mark your calendars.
Now that's an interesting collection. I saw it come in, of course, and I just never think of people collecting razor blades or razor blade displays in this case, but really they're great advertising pieces. I'm really shocked. So if people aren't familiar with this, please go to our website, donleyauctions.com, and take a look at these things. It's really an interesting collection
It's
you
an
have
interesting item to collect. For one, they're lightweight, they're small, they're beautiful, but here is what determines their value. I looked this up the other day because I wanted to find out, well, what are these going to go for? And what we factor in is the condition of them, obviously, if they include the original box or not, the completeness of them. The displays should have all of the original blades intact. Those are worth much more, and I got to tell you, most of ours do. The age of them, the 1930s and 40s, the Art Deco ones, and the wartime era displays are especially prized. The graphics should be bold and colorful with the advertising on there. Adds collectible appeal, and the rarity. Limited production runs or original brands like the Toledo or Clicks fetch higher prices, and we have all of those. We have 196 display items.
And you don't have to be a razor blade collector to really enjoy these. I mean, if you have a barbershop display in your home, you got to have one of these. If you have general store displays in your home, you got to have one of these. But just to look at them, they're really cool. You could just have one just sitting on your counter, and it's going to attract attention.
I have them displayed in the display cabinet with about, maybe 10 items or so. It looks so cool just set up like it is, because they all have stands on the back of them.
Well, have you noticed when people come into the gallery, they're like drawn to that right away? And they may not spend a lot of time, but it catches their eye and draws them over right away.
They never thought that would be an interesting collector item. But here's the one I'm going to go on record right now that I cannot wait to see how much it goes for, and that is a 1930s Shelby display. It is very Art Deco themed, and they said that one will probably be our most valued item. So we'll see what it goes for. But what I did learn about, razors, and I thought I would find some interesting facts and history about razors, is what they did with all of this in World War I. They were issued shaving kits, right? They were khaki colored, for one, which I did not know. And Gillette produced them, over 3.5 million khaki shaving kits for our U.S. soldiers.
Boy, what a contract that must have been for Gillette.
Yeah.
That probably pushed them,
Made good
for
money
sure.
during the war, yeah.
Yeah, the men joked that the Army gave them razors before they issued them rifles, since shaving was considered essential to their survival.
Wow. Before we go too much further about the auctions that we have coming up and how people can consign and everything, I'd just like to remind our new listeners kind of what this show is all about. You know, we're always assuming people are coming to us week after week after week, and forgetting that there's people tuning in probably for the first time, and they might not even understand the whole concept of this show.
Yeah, what are you guys talking about?
Which
What's
is- yeah.
What's going on here? Why are they after a finance show?
So very, very simply, ladies and gentlemen, we are an auction house, Donley Auctions, right here in Union, Illinois, just outside Chicago. And our whole job is to sell your items for you. If you're a collector of antiques and interesting items, we're an auction house that sells, whether it's one item or a whole collection. We actually will come to your home, do site appraisals and these type of things, and get your items to the auction gallery. And we do so much work. If you're trying to close an estate right now, if somebody in the family's passed away and they were a collector, people come to Donley Auctions for help. We're the company that can really get you the best prices for these collections.
Right, and you know how they do that? First thing you should do is give us a call at 815-923-7000, or better yet, email us at our email address at consign@donleyauctions.com. Send us some photos, just a little brief description of what you have, where you're located, and I will distribute those emails to our specialist, who will get back to you with your next steps. It's that easy.
And, you know, I'd like to also mention, too, that most people think of auctions as just like the little country auctions or the small auction houses where whoever shows up bids on the items. Well, we have people showing up here because we have live auctions, but we're also on the internet. So we are worldwide. There's audiences from literally all over the world that buy from us. So you are assured to get the best price you can for the items.
And you don't have to be outside in this cold weather.
Right. But well said, Mike. One thing that our listeners should know is we're actually, Donley Auctions is one of the larger auction houses in the entire country, let alone the state of Illinois.
That's right. I would have to say we're right up there. So definitely get in touch with us.
So instead of selling your items to somebody and just guessing at the price, why not get top dollar for your items? I mean, you only have one chance to sell it, so you don't want to leave any money on the table when you go to sell your items.
You know, I'm always warning people, Mike, that you certainly can sell at garage sales or estate sales and these type of things. But if you don't really know what your items are worth, you are playing that best guessing game. And you just put prices on there, and in most cases, when you have things for sale, you negotiate down. Somebody comes and they offer you less money. Whereas at auction, ladies and gentlemen, the price goes just the opposite. It goes up. We start at a price, and we're always having people bid upwards. And literally, we have thousands of people bidding against one another competitively to buy your items from you.
And as you always say, Randy, you wouldn't throw a lottery ticket in the garbage without checking the numbers first. So you have to check your items out. And the easiest way to do that, Susan?
Is to email us or call us at 815-923-7000. We love to get your emails. We get many, many every single day with such random, interesting collections. It can be one item or a whole room full of stuff. You have to call us.
Mike, you know, we all know, the three of us sitting here know that this is an unscripted show, and you just brought up not throwing items away. Well, this just happened a couple days ago. I was sitting in Ryan's office. Ryan, of course, is our coin expert here. And there was a woman showing him coins, you know, silver and gold that she had. And she said, you know, I know foreign coins aren't worth anything, so I left those at home. And Ryan looked at her and said,
exploded.
What do you mean foreign coins aren't worth anything? And she said, well, I've always been told that foreign coins are just junk. And
Wow.
I was so surprised at his answer. He said, absolutely not. Foreign coins are just as valuable in every country as American coins would be here. And of course, we're worldwide. Mm-hmm. We're selling items all over the world, and foreign coins do very, very well at auction.
So I hope she ran home to get them. Did she go home? Maybe we'll see
I don't
her
know the
again. I
answer
hope
to
she
that.
comes back.
Another thing that Ryan just had took in was, did you hear about the book of sports cards that people came in, and there was a Michael Jordan rookie in there, and the people had no idea what they had?
No kidding.
Yeah,
I didn't hear about
Yeah,
that.
it's going out for grading right now. I mean, this is going to turn out to be
Michael Jordan rookie card.
in very good condition too. So
Oh,
it's definitely
my gosh, I got to see it.
It's definitely worth having graded. It's
Okay.
going to be
That's great.
unbelievable.
So if you are listening out there, yes, sports memorabilia is something that we're very, very big in here at Donley Auctions. We have experts, and of course, we'll do all the work for you because, as Mike said, certain things need to be graded to get better money for them. That's just work that sometimes you don't want to do, we'll do for you.
I do want to mention, though, I wasn't here last week when you guys did the podcast, but there is a full story about that card in our podcast. So, folks, we also, you can watch us live. If you go to our website at donleyauctions.com, click on last week's podcast, and we'll have more information. I think he actually shows the card, the Michael Jordan rookie card. So,
Okay.
more about that.
But Susan, I understand there was a stand-in for you. You weren't in the last podcast.
I'd like
so,
to congratulate
so if you want to
Becky.
see the real Susan,
Yeah.
tune in next week.
Oh my gosh, Becky should win an Academy Award for that little production there. So
Okay, so continue on. Let's talk more about upcoming auctions.
Well,
I just want to say one more thing about the razor blade display auction, and then I'm done with my history because I thought this was. I love history when it comes to World War I, World War II. So when Gillette issued their razors to everybody the soldiers in World War I, they were told they were required to have a clean shave all the time. Why? Because the gas masks would seal properly if they were clean shaven.
I'll
so
be
they
darned,
had
that's right.
to shave.
During World War I,
Yes.
the gas warfare was quite a thing. The mustard gas and everything. You don't even think about that in wartime that
Right.
people had to wear gas masks.
no, 'cause
Yes.
it was banned after World War I, the Geneva Convention.
Well, the Geneva Convention, but how much of that is really, unfortunately, adhered to? War is war. People
Yeah.
do whatever they have to win, unfortunately.
So just to recap real quick, the razor blade advertising displays and barbershop items including razors, straight razors, brushes, mugs, all kinds of great stuff coming up Thursday, December 4th, folks. That auction is online only. However, if you'd like to come out and preview the items, we'll probably do that on Wednesday. Yes, the Wednesday before the auction. It will not be a live audience, but it's definitely online. Go to donleyauctions.com to see the catalog.
And you know what? A lot of people are listening to us right here on WLS AM 890, but a lot of people are also listening to us through their computers in different parts of the country. And I want to let people know we travel all over for large collections. I mean, we go all over the country. Randy, you just literally
got back. Yeah.
walked in the door from
Florida. I was in Tampa looking at a big music collection, antique phonographs, music boxes, Nickelodeons, orchestrions, an unbelievable collection. While I was in Tampa, we get a phone call from a gentleman from a museum who wants us to help him with his carousel. So it's just so crazy. I'll probably be out again next week. So if you need to see me when I'm in Florida, let's make the
Give us a
arrangements
call. Let's get
now.
you on the calendar. Where else are you guys off to? In case
Well,
anybody wants to meet up with you.
Indiana. We've
Indiana.
got a big collection. We're moving out of Indiana.
Indiana.
That's coming up.
Going to Tennessee.
We'll be down in Tennessee in a few weeks.
Near Franklin at the Civil War Show.
And coming up, we have to go over to Iowa and Colorado. So we're all over the country.
It really
That's
doesn't
great.
matter what state you're in. As Mike said, we'll be more than happy. We need to see photos first. We can't come out without you sending us photos. So a little pre-work needs to be done, and we can make an arrangement to come and help evaluate your collection for you.
I do want to say, though, some people kind of cringe when you say, oh, I got to attach photos in an email. You know, if you really don't want to do that, give us a call, and we will give you another phone number you can call to text those phone numbers to. Sometimes it's much easier to just click and send, right? So either way, we'll make it as simple as possible for you. Give us a call at 815-923-7000.
So what's your next big auction, Susan, other than razor blades? It's my understanding, did you call it the collector's dream?
Here we
What
go.
is that?
Yes, December 11th. Okay, so we're doing 3 auctions in the month of December. So for those of you looking for Christmas gift ideas, these are the auctions for you. Thursday, December 11th. We're calling it a collector's dream. It's really general antiques. I've got a little bit of everything in this auction. You guys have seen it. I have it set up in multiple tables and rows in the hall here, but we've got music items, antique music items, coin-operated machines, sculptures and statues, furniture, clocks, lighting, toys, trains, dolls, games, vintage items, tons of advertising, Breweriana, sports memorabilia. I even have autographs, Petroliana, architecture, books, military, tons of knives and swords, and even some taxidermy.
I really was surprised at the variety that you
It's a big
have
variety.
in this auction coming up, because normally Donley Auctions kind of has specialized auctions. And one of the reasons for that is the collections that we take in are specialized. Most times when people call us with a collection, it's because they've been kind of target collectors when they've collected up these amazing, amazing collections. And so then we'll theme a whole auction around that particular collection, like Susan with her razor blade collection. It's specifically shaving memorabilia. But this auction that's coming up in December is really
Very general.
Very
general,
interesting.
but lots of eclectic items. And I even have fossils. Talk about a wide range of items.
It really is. And that's why when you said it's a perfect time to buy a unique Christmas gift, it really is.
It really is.
The timing is perfect, and we'll have time to ship it out, or you can always pick items up right at the auction gallery here in Union, Illinois.
Well, we've got, furniture, which we don't normally sell. Modern, contemporary, modern day furniture, of course, but I do have a bunch that's going this auction. So if anyone's looking for items for staging a house, or they're doing a renovation, I even have some architecture. I really think this auction there's something there for everybody. So definitely check it out. Go to our website at donleyauctions.com. But I do want to pump up one item that's in this auction that's my favorite item. Do you know what it is?
I don't.
You do not. Well, it's been in a couple auctions, and the owner is very motivated to sell this item. So I do want to share this with you. It is a rare 1905 Wing & Sons pedal upright grand piano. That thing is gorgeous.
That's very interesting that you would find that as such an interesting item, because
Even though I can't play the piano, I still think it's pretty.
but
I should learn.
so many times we'll tell people, we don't take pianos. We can't sell them, especially old uprights. This one, though, is pretty unique. It's a very rare, what they call a 5-pedal piano. It's got a 5th pedal. And anybody out there, if you're into playing ragtime piano, this is a very special piano with that 5th pedal that adds to the music with the ragtime theme.
Yeah, it gives it that honky-tonk saloon sound. So they used to advertise it as an orchestra in one instrument, and it was really marketed to, regular average people in their homes, and they sold them in catalogs.
It dates back to the 1920s, I would think.
Yeah, it's a great piece, and they said every home could be like a concert hall. It's like having a band in a box, minus the beer.
I'd also like to point out, folks, that on this item, there is no reserve.
No reserve,
I
and
mean,
the starting bid is $100.
Oh, my goodness.
Come
My
on, that's
goodness.
ridiculous. But hey, it's going to go to a good home, and that's what the owner is hoping for, that someone will treat it well. So definitely check it out on our website at donleyauctions.com. That piano is lot number 126.
You mentioned, too, that we have furniture in this auction and we don't normally take it. So I'd like to tell folks out there how this happens, because so often I'm telling people all the time, no, we don't do furniture. No, thank you. No furniture, no furniture. Because, folks, most furniture we can't sell for anything. There's no buyers for it. But when you send us photographs, that may change, because there are certain pieces that we will accept. For example, Mike has this large collection of arts and crafts furniture in the Native American auction. And people would say, well, wait a minute, why did you have that whole collection of furniture? Well, here's one of the reasons. So often we're doing work for attorneys, that have to settle estates, and we can't necessarily go in an estate situation and pick and choose and only take the collection. Sometimes we have to sell the entire estate. So don't be mad at us when we won't take your furniture, but you saw similar things selling at Donley Auctions. Sometimes there's a reason that we, for lack of better words, have to take furniture. And then there's many times that we change our minds and we just want it at a certain period of time also. Like the arts and crafts furniture really fit in with the Native American theme.
Absolutely. In the Western, yeah, a lot of people decorate like that. And for those, it's also called mission-style furniture. It's still very popular. Stickley's is still in business and still making reproductions. Mostly you get it at the Amish furniture stores.
And you saw that a lot in ranches. I wonder why. Very often I'll see a Mission Oak furniture with either where people have recovered it with Native American blankets or horsehide
Just
or
fits
anything.
the
Give it
theme,
a whole different look. Very, very ranchy. Now, one reason that I'm still kind of talking about last week's auction is because, Mike, tell me, you're having a whole nother one, correct? You've got another Native American auction coming up.
There's so many items. We still have a lot left over from the Wild West Town collection. And we're just about to take in another huge collection of Native Americans. So we're going to be doing part 2 probably within the next couple of months here.
And is that coming out of Iowa?
That one's going to be coming out of Iowa, that big collection, yeah. So
I heard Ryan telling you, I guess it was today or the other day, about all the comments they're getting about the Wild West Town items.
yeah, it was kind of bittersweet to see some of that go because, that it was 40 years of our lives, or almost 50 years of our life, Randy. Or in some cases, our whole life with that stuff's been around. So
Well, and isn't it interesting, Mike, that yes, we're selling our family's collection, and we really get to know what families feel when they consign collections to us.
Yep.
In most cases, people are selling off their parents' collection. One or both of their parents have passed, and they're selling the antiques collection that has been in their family their whole life. And so, yeah, now it's kind of hit home where we're selling our own items, which is kind of strange.
yeah, it's not just the item; it's the story that always goes with it. You look at a piece and remember the day you bought it and what was happening that day. So every little piece has a story that only the person who collected it could even understand.
Or the move. The move. One thing that I remember that's not in this auction, it's already been gone. But do you remember when our dad, we were out of state somewhere, I don't remember the state, but he bought this huge tin advertising record, and we put it on the roof of the car. And now we didn't have rope. Nobody was smart enough to just drive to a hardware store and buy rope or straps or anything. As a family, Susan, we held this tin
Of course
sign.
you did.
We had our windows
I can
open, and
imagine.
we held the sign on the roof of the car.
Yeah.
So
And he made it home safe?
We did,
Didn't blow
yeah.
off? Okay.
Yeah, that sign hung prominently in the museum for almost 50 years.
Well, I saw in the display case some gift shop items from the Wild West Town. Are you guys selling any of that, or
We
is
still
that
have
for display?
No, we still have a lot here. I mean, if you're interested, give us a call here. We still have the cowboy hats and gold bags and
Yeah. I saw the miners' hats from the rock shop.
Yeah, for all you people that came here with your children and stuff, if you'd like a
wow,
little
they gotta
souvenir, that's
come out.
another thing. It'd be a cute little Christmas present to buy them to create another memory for them. So
And it's funny because we still have a huge supply of toy guns.
yeah, oh yeah,
And back in our warehouse here, we've still got a big supply of toys and Beanie Babies and just all kinds of things that we used to sell here at Wild West Town. So, Susan, we probably should stage an auction of gift shop
We
items.
should, yes. I think that would be a huge hit, and we'd try to get that on the news. I bet a lot of people will come out for that.
But if you're looking for unique Christmas gifts, contact us now.
All right, give us a call at 815-923-7000. So next week we'll talk more about the Native American and Wild West Town auction, so you guys can hear all about the results from that. In the meantime, we have Razor Blade display coming up December 4th, and our Collector's Dream Auction with General Antiques on Thursday, December 11th. Moving on, December 13th, that same weekend, on Saturday only, we will be holding our next firearms and ammunition auction on Saturday, December 13th.
Firearms, folks, is one of the mainstays here at Donley Auctions. the laws in Illinois, sadly, have become increasingly restrictive, and a lot of people are just they just don't want to bother anymore even owning some of the firearms, especially if they're not being used as hunting items or anything. And we've been very successful in selling people's collections for them, whether it's one item or 40 or 400 for that matter. We do have an FFL, which is a federal firearms license, and we will comply with all state and federal laws for you to make sure that when you're selling your firearms and ammunition, we are doing it 100% legally for you.
And if you have any questions about any of that, please call us at 815-923-7000, because we'll be happy to put you in touch with the right person to answer any of those questions. And I think a lot of people might be worried about, can I put them in my car? Can I transport them? How do I get them there? That sort of thing. What if they don't sell? So definitely call us. We will be happy to explain all that to you. But for right now, folks, we have to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, Thanksgiving is this week, you guys. Randy and I are heading out to New York. So if anyone would like to meet up with us in New York, let us know. And then in our next segment, we're going to talk about more treasures and what you could do with them at one of our future auctions. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Donley Auctions Hour. Give us a call at 815-923-7000.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. Hi, I'm Susan. Thanks for hanging out with us during that break. I'm here with Mike and Randy Donley. Don't forget, folks, Thanksgiving is this Thursday. And you know what usually happens during that time? You're all sitting around the table with your relatives, talking about what you're going to do with Dad's stuff someday, right? Maybe, who knows? But don't throw it away. Give us a call. Email us a picture. Don't forget, Donley Auctions is here to help you.
Right before the break, we were talking about our gun and firearm auctions here. And one of the things I'd like to bring up that we can't stress enough, for you ladies who've unfortunately recently maybe lost your husband, and if he has a gun collection, the last thing you want to do is just let people come in and pick their way through it and offer you whatever they want to for it. You probably have no idea, unless your husband really informed you, you probably have no idea of the value of some of these guns. Some of these guns could be thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars each. You're not going to know that unless somebody is qualified looks at them for you. And we do that here for absolutely no charge at Donley Auctions. We would love to be able to help you get top dollar for your items.
Mike, Susan just said before you started talking, don't throw your items away. And she didn't mean that literally, folks, as far as throwing them away, like as in the garbage. She's talking about throwing them away as in selling them too cheap. Because so often we hear about people, what they sold stuff for, and it's too late. Once you've sold it, it's gone. You can't get it back and resell it at a higher price. So you really need to know what your items are worth.
So while you are cleaning your house, getting ready for Thanksgiving, keep an eye out for some of these valuable items we'll be talking about. And give us a call, and we'll tell you more at 815-923-7000.
Susan, you bring up cleaning the house, and I cannot tell you folks out there how many times Mike and I hear this. Well, we don't want you to come over. The house is somewhat of a clutter house. We need to clean it up first. We need to get the dumpster over here and throw things away.
No.
Oh, my goodness. If we hear that one more time, folks, we're so used to homes being full of items and literally packed full of stuff. And you can be throwing away a fortune. Please call us before the dumpsters to the house so that we can, in fact, inspect and show you what's good and what's not.
I remember you found a little teeny tiny oil can sitting on a step behind something else going up the stairs, and you asked the lady if you could take that one. And what happened?
It sold for $1,500, Susan.
Yeah, it was a little oil can, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an oil can. So.
All right, so you never know. She's like, oh, yeah, take it. I was going to throw it away. No.
And that's
it was valuable.
That's our job, and that's what we're experienced at, coming in and spotting the things that people just take for granted. They'll look at it and say, now, why would anybody want that? Well, because they do, and they collect it, and they'll pay big money for it.
And when we get into homes, so many times we're ending up taking items that they didn't call us for that we just happened to spot. One of my favorites always, and I've probably told this story on the air before, we were in a home right in Crystal Lake, Illinois, and I went over there for some military relics. But as they're showing me the military items, I just couldn't stop. I kept looking in the other room into the kitchen where they had a bowl of fruit, which was fake fruit. They just had a fruit arrangement. But the bowl it was sitting in was an original piece of Tico pottery, made right in Crystal Lake at the Terracotta Company. And it was an extremely rare Roman salad bowl. And what did that go for, Mike?
I think there was $5,000 that sold for.
$5,000. And when I asked her about it, she said, why would you want that? She said, this has been in the house forever. She said, we just always keep a dried arrangement in here. She said, I never thought of it having any value.
Well, that's one skill you guys have that most people don't. You can scan a room and spot the dollar signs.
It's sometimes hard, Susan, because your eyes are just drawn into different rooms and different things, but you don't want to seem nosy. You come in for something
Right.
And
What about that? What about that?
Yeah, but on the other hand, then there are people say, hey, would you take a look in the basement? Would you come upstairs in the attic? Would you come out to the garage? Yes, and yes. That's what we do. When we get into a home, we're more than happy to look at everything and tell you, what's good and what's not. Okay, I'd like to change the subject here for a minute and talk about items that we are still looking for upcoming auctions. I've been throwing out there, if you have a collection, call us and everything. But let's talk about some of the individual items that we're always looking for.
One of the items I know Mike is looking for, and it's probably one of my favorite categories that we do auction, is movie memorabilia. Mike, what do you got in-house, and what are you looking for to add to that? Because we need to get that on the calendar.
Well, I have some great, actually, movie memorabilia, some items from some of the big movie theaters in Chicago. When the movie theaters were torn down, a lot of it was salvaged out, and now that's starting to come back out on the woodwork. I have posters, and I'm always looking for poster collections. Even old posters going back to the silent era, but even modern posters from the 60s and 70s are bringing big money now. An original Star Wars, just huge yet. Autographed photos of people, costumes, anything.
My kids have never seen Star Wars. I just realized that. Isn't that embarrassing?
No, I'll tell you what. I've never seen Star Wars either.
Oh!
And I ran it for 12 weeks.
Oh, my gosh. That's funny.
Mike was a projectionist in the movie
worse.
theaters for years. That's why he ran it. Just so people understand what
I
that means.
bought the DVD of the entire series. There's 6 different movies. My kids had no interest whatsoever in watching it. But I'm telling you, that stuff is highly collectible.
Yeah, anything to do with the movie. If you have even pictures of old movie theaters, anything movie related, old scripts, old props, anything, give me a call.
Didn't you say you had somebody who had an entry sign from a theater once, just a little sign that was hanging up somewhere, and you thought that was really neat that we got that for the auction too?
Well, again, anything in movie memorabilia, folks, we're looking for, whether it's architecture out of the theaters, projection equipment, whether they're hand crank projectors we're really looking for, but even some of the newer equipment from the 40s and 50s, we'll still sell all that. But very important, Mike, amplifiers, correct? Western electric speakers and amplifiers that used to be used in the movie theaters?
Yes, if you should have something like that. Now, chances are it was your husband maybe that collected something like that. An old amplifier rack that's marked Western Electric. You would be surprised. That could be upwards of $50,000, $60,000.
Wait a second. What? Say that again. 50 or 60,000. Folks, did you hear
Susan,
that?
I've told this story so many times. I'm going to tell it again.
Wait, let me guess. Is this the one where you're getting it out of the basement?
No,
a
it was
different story.
on a porch.
Okay.
It was on a porch. This big black rack of heavy equipment, and the man wanted it in auction. And being movie memorabilia, he said, oh, your brother's going to want this. And I called Mike and I said, Mike, do I really have to take this? I said, it's going to be so
heavy.
much work to get it out. It's very heavy. I really don't have good equipment with me. Mike's answer was to me, don't leave it there. And the gentleman selling it, he knew it was good, but he had no idea how good. Neither did I. Mike said, that's not going to go for a penny under $10,000. And Mike, what did you get for
I
it?
think a little over $90,000.
Oh my gosh, I love stories like that.
And it went to Korea.
It went to
Yeah.
Seoul, South Korea.
Yeah.
I just
Absolutely.
remember the one you were dragging out of the basement of a very tiny apartment in New York, and you made your son go get it.
Oh,
Well, there was another Western
That was
Electric
another one,
outfit.
yeah.
that was.
Scott,
That was.
I need a favor.
He took this out of a basement. Well, a basement of a building. Now, folks, you've probably seen like on Three Stooges and stuff where the elevator's on the sidewalk and it comes right out of the ground.
Yes.
Well, this didn't have an elevator. It only had 2 doors to open and a steel ladder that went straight down, not on an angle. And my son literally had to push this thing from the bottom up onto
Onto
the
the
street
street?
in Manhattan. It was just
Oh my
crazy.
gosh.
Now,
Crazy.
the guy who contacted us on that, he had seen the auction where we sold that one, and that's why
There you go.
That's why he contacted
I
us.
think
When
you guys
people
flew
see
out.
results,
Yep.
they want to get
He said,
involved.
"Hey, I got one of these laying in the basement. And send us
And you're like,
pictures."
that's-
and
you called Scott because he was in New York at the time.
Yep,
And
yep.
so we
Luck-
wanted to get
lucky
there
he
as
was a
soon as
weightlifter.
possible. Yeah. That's great. All right, so we're looking for movie memorabilia. And I see here on my notes, Mike, you're looking to build a license plate auction in
That-
the spring.
Well,
Tell
that's-
us about that.
That's coming up in March.
License
so
plates.
anything vintage license plates. Now, when I speak vintage, anything has to be pre-1960 to even become collectible. Things later than that don't usually bring very much, unless they're very low numbers, like a number 1, or it's a very strange vanity plate. Those do very well. But the very good plates are the early ones, porcelain plates from the teens. Doesn't matter what state, but there are certain states that are worth more. Early Hawaii plates, early Alaska plates, things like that will bring big money. Just send me a photo and I can tell you about that. But you'd be surprised. So there are a lot of license plates that'll bring into the thousands of
well,
dollars.
for our new listeners, you want to tell them about the one where we broke the record?
The number
the
1
price?
Chicago, 1905, yeah.
Number 1, 1905.
That was the first license plate. Before the state of Illinois had license plates, the cities were generally offering them to help for road building and such. Chicago started in 1905, and the first plate, number 1, we sold here, and it sold for 40,000 plus
40,
cheers.
40 plus.
40,000 for a
Yeah,
license
for
plate.
a
Yeah,
single
so
license
definitely
plate. So-
people should be running to their garages right now and their attics and their basements. Definitely, if you find anything like that, call us first at 815-923-7000 or email us at consign@Donley, DONLEY, auctions.com. We'd love to see pictures of it.
You know, I want to bring this up too because we've also sold a few license plates from the manufacturer of automobiles right here in Chicago, Tucker. Tucker was an automobile manufacturer in what, 48, I believe.
48 and 49.
Okay, so Tucker had a manufacturer plate which was assigned to his company, and they show up in Chicago, even though he only made like 50 or 51 automobiles. There were more manufacturer plates made than that, and they do show up in Chicago because there was a big auction in the city of the Tucker company. So anybody here in the Chicago area that might have anything from the Tucker factory, we're always looking for Tucker memorabilia. We have a lot of people, that's all they collect is Tucker.
And that'd be either a 1947 or a 1948 Illinois plate. It'll be the number 1, followed by a letter A, B, or C, or D, I think all the way up to a W or something like that. It's always going to be number 1. It'll be a black plate.
Not only license plates, anything Tucker. Actually, there's still a few cars, I think, that are missing. I don't believe all the Tucker automobiles are accounted for. If you have a Tucker automobile, we want it.
Yeah, and you're ready to sell it. You know who to call. Donley Auctions at 815-923-7000. And speaking of Chicago, how about some gangster-related memorabilia? Any of that out there?
Well, that's what we hope. If you've got gangster memorabilia, we want to hear about it because we're always looking for anything. Chicago and Cicero are just synonymous with Capone and that whole roaring 20s gangster era. And of course, the city is not quick to promote it because that gives, kind of a bad light on the city.
But it is history.
But it is
That's what we're doing,
history.
chasing it.
So well said, because so often people, are concerned whether they should even be selling some of this stuff. But history is history. We don't want it to repeat itself.
Right. How about police and fire memorabilia? Is that valuable these days?
Well, badges are probably the biggest collectible amongst police and fire memorabilia. We run into a lot of badge collections, I would have to say, Susan, because of our connection with firearms. And they kind of go hand in hand. Firearms collectors very often got into collecting police memorabilia, and they would collect the arm patches from every city. And then, of course, they'd go into collecting badges also. So it does turn up. But in fire memorabilia, some of the best items are early leather fire helmets. Wow.
Yes,
They
we've had a
can
few
bring
of those,
some
and that's
huge,
with the
huge
leather
money. Yep.
badge
Yeah,
on the
and then
front there.
there's things, even stuff of photography. You know, a lot of firehouses had a photographer who would go on the calls and take photographs of the fires they fought. So even things like that are good.
You know,
I'm surprised you didn't even say a fire engine.
well, and that's
fire
just what I'm
truck.
going to do.
I knew you
because,
would.
You know, people don't necessarily think of us as a vehicle auction. Our name isn't synonymous with automobiles and motorcycles and trucks.
It will be.
Although,
Yeah.
boy, we sell a lot of them here, folks, and for some very, very good money. And people have snickered and said, I think you get such good money for automobiles because people think they're going to come to your auction house that you're not known for vehicles and maybe get a really juicy bargain. And that's not, again, necessarily the case. A lot of people consign their vehicles with us. We are worldwide. We're on every website that you could imagine. Our PR team does a crackerjack job. And if you have a fire truck, yes, we're the guys for you.
You want it, that's for sure. And not only like unrestored vehicles, we have cars that are in great shape, muscle cars. We've had Cadillacs with low miles. We've had Packards. We've had Mustangs, Mercedes. We've had all kinds of things. So definitely take a look in your garage. Go see what you have. How about a barn find? I heard you guys found a car in a barn the other day.
Well, you know what?
We love those.
I didn't necessarily find it. We got photos of it.
Okay.
And the very first thing that the people emailed us back when we told them, yes, we want it. I'm not going to identify what it is yet because it's not in-house. But the very first question they had is, well, before you come, would you like us to get it washed? And I said, no, I want to show up. I want to photograph it with all of its
In the
dirt and
barn,
filth
yep.
and barn doo-doo on it. We want to show people how we find stuff. And that way people know this is a true survivor. I mean, you know, that's all part of the provenance and the history that goes along with it.
You remember that time we had to go dig that Mustang out of a garage? It was buried. The guy said, well, I know there's a Mustang back in there somewhere.
This was in McHenry, Illinois. Yeah. Now, it was a 65, wasn't it?
Yeah, uh-huh.
65 Mustang. That's what we got called there for, folks. I swear to God, we opened the door. Well, first, we couldn't even get the doors open.
Right.
It required some saws and tools and screwdrivers and everything else just to get the doors open. And didn't you think you were being punked?
Yeah, yeah.
We open the doors. We get the doors open. All we see is a pile of junk. And that was his remark. I know there's a car underneath there.
Yeah, from the ground all the way to the ceiling, packed.
And folks, what we ended up doing is we decided we were going to call it a hoarder house. We normally don't use that term. So we had the hoarder house auction.
Uh-huh.
It did extremely well.
It was on the news.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Well,
Yeah.
that's right.
It was on the news. They came out here with cameras, and everybody wanted to see what was going on.
And yes, there was, folks, there was a 65 Mustang underneath it in relatively good shape for an unrestored car. But at that point, he couldn't find the title. So there's another problem. If you don't have a title for a vehicle, can we help you with it? Yes. Call us. We'll explain the process that is required of selling a vehicle without a title.
Speaking of pulling cars out of barns, I remember you guys dragging that Hupmobile out of that garage
That
at
was
one
up
time.
in
Remember
That
that?
was in Michigan.
Michigan,
yeah.
yeah.
That was a big news item as well. Sold very well, but we had to drag it out of there.
Okay, folks.
If you don't know what a Hupmobile is, Google it.
Yeah, 1911 Hupmobile.
1911,
yes,
yeah,
Google
from the
that.
Hupp
Now
Motor Car
imagine this,
Company.
folks. This 1911 automobile had been parked in the same garage since 1938. One family owned this home all these years. The end of the line of the families was now getting ready to sell the house. And the Hupmobile is available for sale, or so we thought. We get there, and he says, no. He said, I've got a guy that wants to buy it. And he gave us the price that he was selling it for, and we said, well, are you committed to that? Because we'll get you a lot more than that. And he says, no, he assured me that's all it's worth.
Of course he did,
said,
yes.
well, we're
That will
assuring
happen.
you it's worth a lot more. And so he decided to consign it to us. And when we opened the doors, everybody in the neighborhood came running because they all knew the rumors, but nobody had ever seen it because there was nobody around since 1938 that had ever seen this vehicle. They knew
Love
it
this
was
story,
there.
yeah.
So the whole neighborhood came out to watch us pull it out of the
Yeah,
out
they're
of the
filming it on their
garage.
cameras and stuff.
And then we
yeah.
filmed it when it was leaving here,
Yeah.
too, when
Well,
the new owners took
that,
it.
That
It
was so
great.
neat. It was so neat. First, I want to tell everybody out there, we tripled what the man was going to get for it, selling it privately. That's a fact. We tripled what he was going to get for it. He couldn't have been happier. And where did it go, Mike?
Back to Michigan.
Back
It
to
went
Michigan.
right back to the very next city over. The gentleman that was living in the next city, again, knew the history, knew the story and everything, and he came here because he wanted it to go right back
I'll be darned.
where it came from.
That's a great story.
The same thing happened with that Cadillac, that 59 Cadillac. That everybody says, oh, you're not going to get any money out of that. It's only worth X amount. And
Well, yeah. Here, folks, we get a call, and a woman's got a 59 Caddy Convert. A nice, beautiful car.
Down in Florida.
It's in Florida. Okay. Well, we're happy to bring it here, and we did. So we brought the car from Florida, and the woman was hoping for $70,000. Nice car.
Low miles, yeah.
And everybody that knows cars said, well, it's not an Eldorado. It's a nice Caddy Convert, but you'll never get 70 grand for it. And we ended up, folks, getting 110. Excuse me. We were right. They were wrong. 110. And again, Mike, where did it go?
back to
Back
Florida.
to Florida. Yes. I love those stories. And I'll be happy to say that we sold the Grateful Dead car recently. The Chevy has been sold.
Oh, their first touring car.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Grateful
yeah.
Dead car is also
A
off the block.
56 Chevy used by the Grateful Dead. Now a local gentleman ended up buying it, and he's going to restore it.
Oh, someone here in Illinois?
Yeah.
Oh,
mhm.
good. Okay, I didn't know that.
Actually, very close to us here. And so he's going to restore it. And here's an interesting side note. We keep telling everybody provenance, provenance, provenance. He said, well, frankly, Randy, I don't care who owned it before. I just wanted a 56. And he said, I'm going to restore this car and love it just because it's a 56 Chevy, not because anybody famous owned it.
That just reminds me of the Seinfeld episode with the John Voight car and the pencil. If
Yes,
anybody
we-
knows what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
We are Seinfeld fans, folks. So you'll hear
Every
a lot
day
of
it's something,
Seinfeld
yes,
references from
that's
us
for sure.
on our show.
All right, what else
especially
we
from
building?
Susan.
I have my calendar for 2026 all laid out. We're filling in the gaps. I'm looking for some more collections to put in those auctions. You guys want to list off anything else besides movie memorabilia, gangster, police, fire? What else you looking for?
Without a doubt, I'm going to jump in there. I know Mike is chomping at the bit too. I really am looking for motorcycles, folks. I want early motorcycles, especially Harley Davidsons and Indian motorcycles, pre-1970s. I'm really, especially in the 30s, in the 20s, in the teens. We want motorcycles for sale. And somebody out there's got a biplane in a hangar or a garage. I'm looking for a biplane, an old one. I want a barn find biplane.
Okay, all right.
How about a
Very-
tank?
Very specific.
Oh, tanks
The
and
tank.
cannons. You know, every week I ask for those. So, but Mike, your turn. You go ahead and give me your want list.
Oh, I don't know where to start. Bars and back bars, antique bars. We love old bars.
Bigger the better. Yeah.
Amusement rides, big stuff. Nothing too big for us. I don't think there's anything too big for us. We've taken off the front of a 12-story building for the
Well,
terracotta.
That you have. That was an amazing feat. But I'll tell you one thing that we did not take, and I'm still kind of glad we didn't. when we were at the LaSalle Bank.
Oh,
Remember the big bank vault door that we wanted so
It
bad?
was like one of those out of a movie. Thing was like 3 foot thick and about
Incredible.
8 foot in diameter.
Had
It was-
to actually lower the floor, folks, in order to open the door.
Yeah.
Because when the door closed, the floor actually went up and covered the bottom of the door.
Yeah.
Just an incredible. It was available to us, but that's one we backed off of.
Okay, what's the one big, huge thing we have here right now that is finally been sold that's leaving and will require industrial equipment to move?
Big, huge steam engine.
Oh, it's sold?
Yes,
It's sold,
it is sold.
and it's leaving the country.
It is going out of the country to a museum. They're
That's
building
probably
a
the biggest
big,
thing we have here right
they're
now.
building a big industrial museum overseas, and they wanted this American steam engine. And I'm talking, folks, a steam engine, the thing stands, 8.5 foot tall?
I don't
and,
even know how much it weighs.
12
Tons.
foot long.
Tons.
And oh, my God. How we ever got it in here is beyond me.
I don't know,
but
and I don't want to be here when it goes.
I'm
but
glad it's leaving.
they're coming with
pulled it off-
people to assess the move. So
I
we'll
pulled
see
it off
what
the trailer
happens.
with my Jeep. Don't you remember?
Oh, my God.
But you know what? I have a feeling we'll have it on our website with the little videos as it's leaving. So keep
There
an
you
eye
go.
out on our website at donleyauctions.com.
And our podcast. So please tune into our podcast every week on Friday.
Yeah, those are fun too. And those are on our website, donleyauctions.com. That's DONLEY auctions.com. Folks, we have a big calendar next year. We're looking to fill some of those dates. Give us a call at 815-923-7000.
And let us know what you'd like us to talk about. If you've got some things that you'd like us to bring up in our next shows, we're on every Sunday at 10 o'clock at WLS. Don't miss our show and let us know what you'd like to hear from us.
I'd like to put a challenge out there. If you have something very obscure and unusual and rare that you have, or you're thinking nobody's going to want this, I would love to hear it. The rarer and weirdest, the better. And we'll take a look at it and see what you got.
We'll play Stump the Donleys. How's
Stump the Donley. Hey, new game show coming to a town near you. Well, folks, that's a wrap for now. Thanks for listening to our show, the Donley Auctions Hour, right here every Sunday on WLS AM 890. Thanks, Randy and Mike, for the information and your great stories. Give us a call at 815-923-7000. Have a great week. Happy Thanksgiving.
And for now,
I'm Susan.
I'm Mike.
that? And I'm Randy Donley,
And
and
we'll
we'll see you at the auction.